Hi everyone. So today what I want to do is introduce you to measurements, making measurements in chemistry. Okay. This is a really important topic before we get into doing any experimentation where we have to make very precise measurements. So the learning objective here is we're going to learn how to make proper measurements, and we're going to record those measurements to the correct precision. Okay? Making measurements and communicating those measurements is extremely important in science. All right, so I'm going to start with this diagram. It's showing you three different rulers. You would find this exact same page in your binder on page 19. Okay, so first what I want to do is focus only on the left ruler, okay? And right now, all we know is the following. We know that at the bottom of the ruler, we have 0. And the top of the ruler, there's a mark that says 10. So I want you to really focus on this and think about what you think the best measurement we could give to this line. So I'm going to measure this red line, and let's start off with this first idea. All we really know for sure is this mark is 0 and this mark is 10. Everything in between 0 and 10, anything in between that is going to be an estimate. I mean, you might look at that line and say, okay, that looks like 7, and let's say this is centimeters. Okay, I'm just going to say we're measuring in centimeters. Okay, all I really know is this line is between 0 and 10, and I'm going to make an estimation here and say that this is 7 centimeters. Now you might look at this and say differently. I'm saying it's 7 centimeters. You might look at it and say, no, that looks more like 8 centimeters. Okay, well, fine. It would probably be okay to call this 8 centimeters. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to happen. It would be okay to call this 8 centimeters. Okay? All we really know for sure is that the measurement is somewhere between 0 and 10. Okay? Now, I want to say also at this point, when we're recording measurements, you always must include the unit, okay? The measurement doesn't mean anything unless you include the units, okay? So I'm going to be a real stickler on that, okay? I'm going to be like, okay, you need to give me your units, okay? Because you just gave me a number and I have no idea what that means. All right, now let's take a look at the next ruler over. And notice how we've got more marks on this ruler now. We know where 0 is, but now we know where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 11 is now on this ruler. Okay? Okay, so now I've taken the exact same line and I've moved it over to the new ruler, and we're going to make the best measurement that we can possibly make here. All right, now we've got some more information. Okay, I'm looking at this ruler and I know that this is 7 and this is 8. Okay, this ruler has more graduation marks on it. Okay, so I know for sure where 7 is. I know for sure where 8 is. And now what I can do is make an estimation in between those two lines. Now, this is also going to be really an important point. All measurements contain a certain amount of uncertainty. It's not about human error or anything like that. It's just the nature of measurements, okay? You can have more and more and more precise measurements if you have more graduations, okay? So the precision of a measurement really has to do with the instrument that you're using. It's not about human error, okay? So now I'm looking at this measurement, and now I'm estimating between 7 and 8. Okay, now our estimation now is going to be to the 10th of a centimeter. Okay, I know it's between 7 and 8. I'm going to make an estimate here now, and I'm going to say, to me, that looks like 7.8 centimeters. Okay, all right. With the other ruler, this was the estimated digit. That was estimated, okay? Here, the estimated digit was to the tenths place, okay? So this was the estimated digit, okay? Now you might look at this and say, no, I think that looks more like 7.7 centimeters. Well, you just made an estimate that was a little bit different than mine, okay? They're both valid measurements. You know, all we're doing is we're making an estimation between the known graduation lines on this ruler, okay? Okay, so now let's take a look at this next ruler, and let's review with the left ruler. With the left ruler, we only knew the graduations between 0 and 10. So we estimated a 7. We estimated that this was 7 centimeters. This was our estimated value. Okay, in the ruler next to it, we can now estimate to the 100ths place because we knew for sure between the measurement was somewhere between 7 and 8. So 7.8 was my estimation. Okay, so I estimated to 8/10ths of a centimeter. Okay, now we've got a new ruler. Okay, and we're all the way to the right now, and we're going to make a measurement of the same object using this ruler, which has many more graduations to it. Okay, so what we know here for sure is this line is somewhere between 7.7, okay, that mark right there is 7.7 and 7.8, okay? We know that it's somewhere between 7.7 and 7.8. So now we can make an estimation to the 100th of a centimeter, okay? Now we're going to make an estimation there, and I might say that that looks to me like 7.71. Okay, 7.71. I am estimating now to the 100th of a centimeter. Okay, I can make that estimation because we have graduations that are to the tenths place. So here's the general rule, okay? Your measurements must always be an estimate between the known values on your instrument, like your ruler or your graduated cylinder, okay? So for instance, with this ruler, I know that I can make measurements to the 100ths place, okay? That means all the measurements I ever take with this ruler will be to the 100ths place. Here, in this ruler, I can make estimations to the 10th place, okay? So all measurements are going to be to the 10th place. Here, the estimate is between 0 and 10. The best that I can do is estimate to the ones place, okay? So here's the general rule. This is what we've always got to do when we're making measurements, okay? And I'm just going to read through this. So measurements must always be made by estimating one digit beyond the known digits, okay? So in this ruler, the known digits were 0 and 10. I could estimate to the ones place. Here, I knew the digits to the ones place. I could estimate to the tenths place. Here, I know the digits to the tenths place, I can estimate to the 100ths place. This is another worksheet that is in your binder. I believe it's page 21 in your binder, and I will probably ask you to do these on your own, but I would like to use this as some more examples of doing measurements. Okay, so let's take a look at the top ruler here. Okay, and there are a few points that I want to make. Okay, so this ruler is in centimeters. Okay, and let's take a look at D. Okay, and let's make a measurement of D, and I want to talk through what we know about D in order to make this measurement. Okay, on this ruler, I have graduations that are to the tenths place of centimeters, because this is 26, this is 27, this is a jump of 1 centimeter, this is a jump of another 1 centimeter, and then another 1 centimeter. Okay, so each one of these marks is a tenth of a centimeter. Okay, so I'm looking at D, and I know that this mark here is greater than 26.5, but less than 26.6. Okay, I'm going to make an estimate somewhere right between 26.5 and 26.6. I know that it's greater than 26.5, and I can now make an estimate to, let's say, I'm just going to call it 5. Okay, 26.55 centimeters. Okay, and again, I need to include the unit there, because this is a measurement, and if I just write down the number, it doesn't mean anything. Measurements are only measurements if you write down the units with them. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to make a really important statement here about this ruler. Since we know that this ruler can make measurements to the 100th of a centimeter, okay, all the measurements on this ruler must be done to the 100th centimeter. Okay, I want to focus my attention now on C, because you might look at this and say, okay, well, that's easy. That is just 26. And that's not entirely correct, okay? Because I know that this ruler can make measurements to the 100th of a centimeter. And it looks to me like that mark is right on the 26. But I need to make this measurement, or write down this measurement to the 100ths place. So that's going to be 26.00 centimeters. 26.00 centimeters. I'm going to rewrite that so that it's a little cleaner. .00 centimeters. Not 26.0, not 26, but 26.00. Okay, let's do one last quick measurement here just for more practice. All right, let's take a look at J together. All right, J. Now, J looks to me like it is pointing right here on this mark. All right, so first thing that we need to do is recognize that that is going to be 30.2 right there, okay, because each one of these marks is a tenth of a centimeter. So that's 30.2. And now, because all measurements on this ruler must be made to the 100ths place, I'm going to call this measurement for J 30.20 centimeters. All right, I think that's enough to get you started. So go to assignments in On Campus and there's a worksheet. It's in your binder. I don't know the page number right off the top of my head. So go to assignments, and I would like you to complete that worksheet and put the finished worksheet into Shobi. Okay. We will continue this next time. All right. But I just wanted to get you started with proper measurements. Thank you.